The Bible contains numerous references to mysterious creatures, some of which are described in vivid detail and have fascinated readers for centuries. These beings often carry symbolic, spiritual, or allegorical significance. In this video we shall discuss about 10 mysterious creatures mentioned in the Bible. Number 1. Leviathan. The Leviathan is a prominent creature in biblical texts, often symbolizing chaos, power, and divine control over the forces of nature. Mentioned in the Old Testament, the Leviathan is described in vivid and poetic imagery, particularly in the book of Job, Job 41, where it is portrayed as an enormous, fearsome sea creature with impenetrable scales, fiery breath, and an unmatched ferocity. In Psalms, Psalm 74:14 and Psalm 104:26, the Leviathan represents the untamed forces of the sea, often depicted as subdued or controlled by God to demonstrate his supreme power. Isaiah 27:1 speaks of God slaying the Leviathan, referring to it as a twisting serpent and dragon of the sea, a symbol of ultimate victory over evil and chaos. Throughout these references, the Leviathan serves both as a literal creature of the deep and as a metaphor for the overwhelming challenges and destructive powers that only divine authority can master. Its enduring mystique has inspired theological, literary, and cultural interpretations, reinforcing its place as a symbol of God's sovereignty over creation. Number 2. Behemoth. The Behemoth is a mysterious creature mentioned in the Bible, specifically in the book of Job 40:15-24. It is described as a powerful, untamed beast created by God, serving as a symbol of divine strength and majesty. The text portrays the Behemoth as a creature that eats grass like an ox and possesses immense physical strength, with bones likened to bronze and limbs compared to iron bars. Its tail is said to move like a cedar, and it resides near rivers, finding shelter among the reeds and lotuses. While its exact identity is uncertain, some scholars suggest it could be a poetic representation of a real animal, such as a hippopotamus or an elephant, while others view it as a mythical or symbolic figure representing chaos and God's power over creation. The Behemoth, paired with Leviathan, underscores the theme of God's unmatched authority and the limitations of human understanding in the face of divine creation. Number 3. Nephilim. The Nephilim are mysterious beings mentioned in the Bible, primarily in Genesis 6:1-4. They are described as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men, existing during the period before the Great Flood. The term Nephilim is often translated as giants, though its exact meaning is debated. Some interpret the sons of God as fallen angels who mated with human women, resulting in a hybrid race of extraordinary size and strength. Others suggest the phrase refers to the descendants of the godly line of Seth intermarrying with the ungodly line of Cain, symbolizing a moral corruption rather than a physical one. The passage notes that these beings were mighty men of old, men of renown, implying they were renowned for their power and deeds. The Nephilim also appear briefly in Numbers 13:33, where Israelite spies report seeing them in Canaan, describing them as fearsome giants who made the Israelites feel like grasshoppers in comparison. This account reinforces their reputation for extraordinary size and strength, though it may also reflect exaggeration born of fear. The Nephilim's enigmatic nature has fueled centuries of speculation and debate, inspiring interpretations that range from mythological to theological, with questions about their origins, purpose, and fate remaining a topic of fascination. Number 4. Dragons. Dragons in the Bible are often symbolic creatures rather than literal ones, representing chaos, evil, or formidable enemies. They are mentioned in various contexts, primarily in poetic and prophetic literature. The term dragon is commonly translated from Hebrew words such as tannin, which can also mean sea monster or serpent. In the Old Testament, dragons are associated with desolate places, Isaiah 34:13, or the seas, as in the description of Leviathan, a mighty sea creature, Job 41, Isaiah 27:1. Leviathan symbolizes chaos and is depicted as a fearsome, untamable being that only God can control. In the New Testament, the imagery of dragons takes on a more specific apocalyptic meaning, especially in the book of Revelation. The dragon in Revelation 12 is a great, fiery red creature representing Satan, seeking to devour and oppose God's plans. This depiction underscores themes of spiritual warfare and ultimate triumph over evil. While the Bible does not treat dragons as literal creatures, their symbolic use conveys powerful messages about God's sovereignty, humanity's struggles, and the cosmic battle between good and evil. Number 5. Living creatures in Ezekiel's vision. In the book of Ezekiel, the prophet describes an extraordinary vision of living creatures that serve as part of God's divine presence. found in Ezekiel 1. These beings are often referred to as cherubim, and are portrayed with a striking and symbolic appearance. Each creature has 4 faces: a human face, a lion's face, an oak's face, and an eagle's face, symbolizing wisdom, strength, service, and swiftness, respectively. They also have 4 wings, to that stretch upward, covering their bodies, and to that extend outward to move in any direction without turning. Their bodies gleam like burnished bronze, and their feet resemble those of a calf, shining with a radiant brightness. Beneath their wings, they appear to have human hands, emphasizing their ability to act and perform God's will. The creatures move in unison, directed by the Spirit, and are accompanied by wheels intersecting one another, known as wheels within wheels, which also follow the Spirit's guidance. These beings are a powerful representation of God's majesty, omnipresence, and divine authority, reflecting his perfect harmony and control over creation. The vision left Ezekiel awestruck, and laid the foundation for his prophetic ministry. Number 6. Unicorns. Unicorns are often mentioned in popular culture and folklore, but their presence in the Bible is a matter of translation and interpretation. The term unicorn appears in several versions of the Bible, including the King James Version, where it is used in passages like Numbers 23:22, Job 39:9-10, and Psalms 92:10. In these verses, the word unicorn is used to describe a powerful, single-horned creature. However, scholars believe the term is likely a mistranslation of the Hebrew word, rem, which refers to a wild ox, or a similar large, horned animal, rather than a mythical horse-like creature with a single horn. The original Hebrew and Greek text did not describe unicorns in the way they are understood today. The translation of rem as unicorn was influenced by ancient translators, particularly the Septuagint and the Latin Vulgate, who used the term unicornus to describe a strong, horned animal. Modern translations of the Bible, such as the New International Version or the English Standard Version, often translate rem as wild ox, or another similar creature to more accurately reflect the original meaning. As such, the unicorns in the Bible are generally seen as symbolic of strength and majesty, rather than literal references to the mythical creatures we associate with that name today. Number 7. The beast in the Book of Revelation. In the Book of Revelation, the beast is a symbolic figure that represents evil, power, and corruption. It is described in vivid and terrifying terms, particularly in Revelation 13, where 2 beasts emerge. The first beast, often referred to as the beast from the sea, is depicted as having 10 horns, 7 heads, and 10 crowns, representing a powerful, tyrannical empire. This beast is said to be blasphemous, boasting of authority over all nations and demanding worship. The second beast, known as the beast from the earth, appears with 2 horns like a lamb but speaks like a dragon, symbolizing false prophets or deceptive powers that promote the worship of the first beast. This second beast also forces people to receive a mark on their foreheads or hands, known as the mark of the beast, without which they cannot buy or sell. The beast is often interpreted as a representation of oppressive political regimes, corrupt leadership, or the embodiment of Satan's influence in the world. In Christian eschatology, the beast is associated with the final days, and the rise of the Antichrist, whose reign is marked by widespread deception, persecution of the faithful, and the eventual battle between good and evil. The number of the beast, 666, is famously linked to the figure, symbolizing imperfection and the ultimate failure of evil, in the face of God's ultimate victory. Number 8. Seraphim. In the Bible, seraphim are celestial beings mentioned primarily in Isaiah 6:1-7, where the prophet Isaiah has a vision of the Lord seated on a high and exalted throne. The seraphim are described as having 6 wings, 2 covering their faces, 2 covering their feet, and 2 used for flying. They continuously call out to one another, proclaiming the holiness of God with the words, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory." Their presence and their praise emphasize God's supreme holiness and majesty. In the vision, one of the seraphim touches Isaiah's lips with a live coal from the altar, symbolically purifying him and preparing him for his prophetic mission. The term seraphim derives from a Hebrew word meaning burning ones, which may allude to their radiant, fiery nature, reflecting the consuming holiness of God. Beyond Isaiah's vision, the seraphim are not mentioned elsewhere in the Bible, but they have been interpreted in Christian theology as a high order of angels, distinct in their role of worship and adoration before God's throne. Number 9. Cherubim. Cherubim are a class of angelic beings frequently mentioned in the Bible, known for their significant role in representing God's presence and serving as guardians of His holiness. They are first introduced in Genesis 3:24, where they are placed at the east of the Garden of Eden, to guard the way to the tree of life. After Adam and Eve are expelled, cherubim are also described in great detail in the books of Ezekiel and Exodus. In Ezekiel's vision chapter 1 and 10, they appear as celestial beings with 4 faces, of a man, lion, ox, and eagle, and are equipped with wings and wheels full of eyes, symbolizing their intelligence, strength, and omniscience in carrying out God's will. Their association with the Ark of the Covenant in Exodus 25:18-20 further underscores their sacred nature. 2 golden cherubim are depicted with outstretched wings covering the mercy seat, serving as a symbolic throne for God's divine presence. The imagery of cherubim reflects their role as protectors and intermediaries between God and humanity, emphasizing their profound connection to God's majesty and sovereignty throughout the biblical narrative. Number 10. Lilith. In the Bible, Lilith is not explicitly mentioned. However, she is often associated with certain interpretations or traditions in various religious texts, particularly in Jewish folklore and mysticism. The most well-known reference to Lilith comes from the alphabet of Ben Sira, a medieval text, where she is described as the first wife of Adam, before Eve. According to this tradition, Lilith was created from the same earth as Adam and was his equal. However, she left Adam after a dispute about equality and refused to return, eventually becoming a demon associated with night and seduction. This portrayal is not found in the canonical texts of the Bible, but rather in later Jewish writings. In the book of Isaiah chapter 34:14, there is a reference to a creature called Lilith, which is translated in some versions of the Bible as night creature or screech owl. In this context, Lilith is not a person but a mythological figure representing desolation or wilderness, often associated with the destructive forces in the world. Overall, Lilith is more a figure of legend and folklore than a major biblical character, with her story gaining prominence in Jewish mysticism, especially in texts like the Kabbalah and Midrash. These creatures often reflect cultural imagery, theological truths, or spiritual allegories meant to inspire awe, fear, or reverence. Their exact nature may remain mysterious, but their messages about God's sovereignty, power, and the battle between good and evil are central to biblical teachings. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. May God bless you. Amen.